not done one.
Good morning, good afternoon, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to a special episode of Let's Unbox HubSpot. We're doing buying groups today with Dan Currin. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, my pleasure. First one to respond to the big post calling out all the HubSpot product managers. So I definitely appreciate you stepping up. I've never opened up buying groups before, and you just mentioned that this was your first time doing LinkedIn Live. So this should be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I am nervous. It's weird. It's weird being on the other side of the demo, and it's going to be intriguing to see where you go and where you get stuck. It's actually good user feedback.
Yeah, that's what I find. That's my closer, right? When product managers are trying to understand what the heck is going on here. All we're really doing is just a live product feedback session in front of everybody who wants to watch. But yeah, this is going to be fun. Also for me, it's like, and you're on the admin hug last month, right? That's really where I learned it from. Like creating the space just to click through HubSpot, and when you see product managers and Kyle Jepsen like get surprised by their own product, right? As they click around HubSpot, it's like, okay, we got to embrace, some of the messy here, because that's what users are. That's what's happening to them too. It's very rarely like 1, 2, 3, like tutorial, just like it looked, right? So it's been fun to do these. And we're going to dive in. And as I click through, I'd love for you to share like just a little bit of the background on OrgChartHub and where that came to be.
Yeah, happy to. So yeah, still relatively new to HubSpot as employees. So me and my co-founder Austin set up OrgChartHub, which was a HubSpot application just solely built for HubSpot. We built it as HubSpot customers, first of all, trying to solve our own challenge, which was we were working with very large businesses. This was in another software company. I was head of account management at that point, and Austin was in the engineering team. And we were trying to map out our key stakeholders because we were dealing with big businesses. And firstly, for the sales process, that was really important. But then also it was important in the CS team and the account management team to ensure we were getting renewals and ensure that we were expanding the accounts. And it was just really hard without mapping out and visually seeing those stakeholders. We were just finding it very difficult. And we felt like that should be inside HubSpot. So yeah, fast forward, the story is we created OrgChartHub. And then by the point at which we got acquired in June last year, we were up to nearly 7,000 HubSpot customers that are using the product, all with the same challenge of they're working with big businesses and they need to be able to map them out visually and understand who those key stakeholders are and make sure they're not missing any gaps.
Makes sense. I think we're learning now visibility is everything, especially as we try to help AI understand, the context of things. I try to help people like with this concept of unified customer view, unified revenue view. And it's been a good kind of outcome to shoot for, because it forces the data to come together in a way that is going to help AI as well. It also happens to help all the humans too. So I imagine like when you're able to build that, like, could you talk about any immediate immediate surprises or things maybe you weren't expecting, as far as like how good that actually was to support, your sales process?
Yeah, in terms of like when we initially got it going within HubSpot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
kind of,
all of this stuff, like what I try to tell people is like, sales teams usually they'll go through an immense amount of pain to get something done if they know what the outcome is going to be and if they know it'll help them. So you'll see these like things outside of HubSpot, spreadsheets and slide decks
yeah,
that just people spend a lot of time on because they really need that visibility for, whatever part of the process it might be. So, you know, the value of bringing that into HubSpot when you try to, bring people in to this new space that they're not used to, like we're all used to slides and Excel, like
mm,
we'll spend an hour on that because we know we can do that and get that done, but we don't know what's going to happen when we bring that stuff into HubSpot. So I'm just curious, what the what the the results were like early on.
yeah. So very much like it's the place where we were working from. So we felt strongly like that's where it should sit. And then to your point about what we were doing was we were using like PowerPoint and we were just manually like putting stuff together. Now there are some like advantages to like manually putting it together. It's incredibly flexible when you can put whatever structure you want together. The downside is you don't get any of the context from the CRM and it's completely separated. Nothing can update by itself or even suggestions be made. And as you were saying about like right now, it's good to have that data all in one place. Going forward, like from our perspective, like the AI side, like that's really, really important. There's lots of opportunities now being part of HubSpot that there's extra detail that we can gather from within the HubSpot account to surface as well, which we're just on the edge of being able to start to work into as we're kind of rebuilding the product. So yeah, it's the initial piece was like the insights that you can gather from the data that's inside your account and seeing all the contacts where they should be.
Right. And we're seeing, as I click through, we're seeing a lot of the, traditional ways that you might bring this data together, right? We've got a parent company here, got a couple deals, uh, 12 contacts, right? So really just purely informational, not like visual, right? Contextually. We've got company summary here. Notice the catch up. So this is all the stuff. There's lots of places where AI is fitting in, right? And if we had data, imagine sentiment challenges. But I am looking for, and so I haven't set up anything yet, but I see activities here.
You need the buying group card. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah. I'll get there for sure.
Yeah.
But I am going to click on that app just to see if that tells me anything. All right.
So you should have the in your account, Chris. Now you've connected to the public beta. There should be cards that you can add to the company view.
Yep. So I'm just going to click through here a little bit more. And again, we're continuing to, we're getting closer here where Data Agent is offering us insights on like starting to get to the who, right? Yeah. Which is really the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. I think a lot of the work, we're doing with the value path at Value First is like trying to make it super, like just use simple words to say like, all right, this is where they are in their journey. This is who they are. And I look forward to digging into that layer beyond like champion or decision maker or, buyer. And I've got a pricing calculator there. So I'm going to customize and see if we got a card. And I'm going to hope for it in the middle. And if we go buying group summary, that looks like the one I want. And we'll just go ahead and throw it in. And so no setup. So that was a card that already existed. Did not set that up before this live session.
It's good. It's good because that's real. Because when you connect to the public beta, you've still got to add the card in. So
right. So wow, this is going to be fun. I'm going to close this to give us some more space. Wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, of course we want to see a heat map. But probably, there is some activity. Okay. So I'm looking at a buying group summary. And I think what comes to mind is it's one thing to have a list of stakeholders, right? It's another thing to understand who they are, what they're doing, what they want, what they care about. Like, are they engaged? Are they not engaged? Right. And that's the difference between a win and a loss sometimes, right? Like if you're not that hidden stakeholder that comes out of nowhere that you didn't serve at all, right? Is often the difference. So I'm gonna see if I can. So all right, I tried to scroll my scroll wheel and it says use control scroll. And if you just like, this is the kind of visuals we're getting in HubSpot now, folks. It's you just get the data in, right? Like this is just based on data records. There's no setup I've done in terms of, some other workflow canvas or, not like I went into marketing studio and set up some stuff and now it's on the record, right? This is just like, once you hit the beta, this is, I guess, like auto building this, org chart.
So on this particular one, there's some like demo data that we put on your account so that it was there. But there will start to be that option, and there is some auto building that we can get stuck into as well. But we'll have to remove that, and then we can show that part as well.
Okay. So the key here is we got the buying roles mapped as an important part of this. So we see that we've got, and maybe we can turn that off so that we got a clear picture here. All right, so we've got CEO, influencer, executive sponsor, degree of influence strong, disc type. All right, all of the human specific data here.
Yeah, if you it's interesting, Chris, watching you, because so if you top right, if you see that button saying open interactive version, so maybe this is good. Like I said at the start, it's good feedback, but that what you're seeing there is like the summary, so you can move around, but this is like the full interactive, right. So you can adjust it and all the rest of it.
Awesome. And let's go full screen for sure. All right, and we can download as PNG. That's probably, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one, because like when we first created the product, we didn't really envisage people like wanting the images of it necessarily. But what we found was some of the best sales reps know their account inside and out, and they are speaking directly with champions and saying, have we got this right? Are these the key decision makers that we need to be working with? Now you need to have obviously a very tight relationship to do that, but that's how, like, that's where the questions are coming from, is like, we want to share it with the customer. So yeah, that's the reason that's there.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. So we see a nice menu here. I'm just gonna, like, because I can see what that does. Please select the contact that manages this individual. And I can have a placeholder contact and just say, like, how about the board? And I'm just gonna fill this in. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, well, so when it was searching there, is that trying to find a contact that might already be in the system?
Yeah, so typically it would, on a placeholder contact, you'd probably put the job title in. So it's like, it's specifically looking for a job title or a similar job title. And if it's a similar job title, make a suggestion and then you can pick it. If it is a fuzzy match, and like say CTO and Chief Technology Officer, then it will automatically pop it in there. So yeah, it's always looking across your account.
Okay. And we've got some shortcuts here. Let's talk to the CRM manager, see what he's up to. Brings us right there. Scroll back in. Set department labels. Oh, okay. So basically, like, yeah, real org chart stuff in here. That's awesome. And I'll just share some of my thought process on why I, put this up here. Like, really thinking of this as like a visual, like, for like, do not forget all of the possible stakeholders involved in any decision making. And I think it's easy to forget that this group is involved here. You don't necessarily ever going to get like contact with them, but probably a lot of work you could do to help Chris Kane here, like give him the resources and words and, visuals he needs to, interact with the board as needed to get the buy-in. So maybe that's something to consider in terms of like other relationships or partners. I could see other companies, being a thing too, like maybe the parent company.
Definitely, yeah. And with those really large deals, like hopefully you're a sales rep and you do a large enough deal that it has to get to board level. In which case, it's the influence in that team as well is key.
All right, not making me right click. I like that. We'll come back here. All right. So these relationship lines. So partner company, influencer, sales team.
Yeah, to maybe put some detail behind that, if that's all right, Chris. So the if you just remove that contact just for a second, so remove me. If you just click on it, and then just remove from chart, which is at the bottom there. So that search in the top right hand corner, we've made it possible so that you can put anybody on the chart, because as you were saying, you could have influencers that are not necessarily part of this company, but they're part of the parent company and they're helping make a decision, or they might be an external partner or an agency that's helping make a decision on a particular solution. So you do have the ability to still pull in contacts from outside of that group and place them on, and then show the relationships that you've got. That's kind of a very important feature that we need to probably make a little bit more obvious, because it's used a lot, but it's not easy to spot straight away.
Yeah, that's where this would be like the consultant, the other consultant that you got to make sure you're working with in that case. So now that they're on here, if we just move left, yeah, that's probably the right spot. And then we are adding relationship. Please select a contact that you would like to connect.
Super interesting. So you want to click a contact on the chart itself.
Okay. Yeah. That
again, this is kind of like the interesting stuff as a product manager, seeing where you go.
Yep. So much of this new stuff is like just learning what's possible, as opposed to thinking like we're restricted to a lot of the old ways, like sidebars, especially as this whole Canvas experience gets built into HubSpot, like in all these different places. Like, it's almost like if it were over in Canva, for example, I wouldn't even have gone to a sidebar. I just would have expected to go to the other object. But since we're in HubSpot, it's like, okay, maybe it's the list.
That's interesting.
All right. So let's click here. Let's bring this relationship back. Add relationship. All right. And then we can add notes here. So let's say executive growth coach who's in Chris's ear talking about how HubSpot might not be the answer because no other important companies are using HubSpot yet. So, well, no matter how much Chris likes HubSpot, there's that coach in the ear that we need to be aware of. So now we have Danielle, and let's set a property here. Okay.
Yeah, so this is to give you a little bit of background where we're at with the product right now. So because this is obviously a big step up for us in terms of what's now possible. So the first step we made with bringing OrgChartHub into HubSpot was to try and get there as fast as possible and use a lot of what we already had. And because we built it solely for HubSpot, we had the advantage of we were able to do that relatively quickly. So we actually got it on private beta for inbound and then public beta for October. In the background, what we're doing is completely rebuilding it so that it's so it can do things like update company name, update any property. But right now it's slightly restricted in that you can, what you just did, Chris, was you updated a property. The reason it was able to do that is because if it was a drop down or a checkbox, it's able to update it. That was a external app partner challenge we had, which we've had to just translate over to move fast. But in the rebuilt version, it'll be any property you'll be able to update from inside the UI here. So it's just worth calling that one out, because it's an obvious an obvious one that needs to be done.
Yeah, no, that was so easy to add that information. And I think so much of this, like when you give, I'm finding that when we add these visuals into HubSpot, that's not like CRM, like a table or like a record view, right? It's a visual that people have seen before, like an org chart, right? Or a calendar view or a map view, right? The barrier, like there's a wall that comes down that says, oh, I know this system is not completely foreign to me. Like maybe I can come in and understand what's going on, because if we can give these visuals to like the sales team, for example, like, and they see that there's a missing piece of data and this is how easy it is to update it, like all of a sudden our data like starts to fill out, right? And get maintained the way that everybody wants, even though you put the property in the right place on the record and they went through the training, like it's just not natural, right? And when they can do it here within the context of the whole story, like it's much more likely to be maintained. So very cool to see that. And good question, Josephine. This is for enterprise only right now. And it was just for sales. And now recently, Service Hub Enterprise gets access. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And it's just worth calling out, like that was from consistent feedback from the public beta. And we're listening. So like the reason that kind of came up is because it was enabled for Sales Hub Enterprise customers. This is for Sales Hub Enterprise seated users that get full interactive access. And what came up very quickly was the CS teams who were on Service Hub Enterprise needed access because they're taking on the account and they're continuing to work on the buying group and develop it for the renewal and develop it for the relationships where their opportunities come out. So obviously we always listen, and we're able to kind of get the wheels in motion to get it on Service Hub as well. So yeah, so that's pretty new. That was like a week or so ago that we enabled.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to see that because yeah, every customer facing team honestly like needs to understand all the stakeholders that, you know, are serving. It's not just about winning deals. I mean, saying that, but on the success side, service side, it is about winning like upsells, cross sells, renewal. Everybody has those kinds of goals. And it's not until recently we really started bringing that context into HubSpot, and having visuals like this on the service and success side, like, yeah, probably a lot easier to see interest as I close this template, like, and get to like the heat map. Just a little bit of feedback right now. I would love to be able to close that so I can just have a whole view.
I'll close the sidebar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
you. Yeah, you'll be pleased to know that that is in the new version.
Cool. But yeah, like, and man, the way that this kind of information, okay, like the first stage, this is why the first stage is get trusted data, like in the system, right? while knowing like this can be a way to kind of push people to get trusted data. And like when you can get this much context from a visual, right? The next sales meeting, the next team meeting, you just pull this up and somebody's like, oh, I didn't know that consultant like was so involved, right? Like she helped with this other thing, with this other company, and she was like helpful to, bring in this other kind of, methodology or product or something else we're able to help with. And that wasn't even on our radar here. Meanwhile, imagine all the departments on here, like the ability to just have the understanding and context you need to actually like proactively cross-sell, upsell, like renewals, stuff like that is just, it's so powerful. And I see up here, we've got options for sales activity and marketing activity. And I'm going to assume that gray means marketing activity, as I see here. Time last seen. All right. Can see that. That's cool. So as a recent conversion date. How are you guys thinking about adding context to like the heat?
Yeah, it's top of mind. So the way we've always thought about the heat map is like it's a quick visual that like summarizes the activity, but then when you go the layer down, it's like actually I want to see like what that activity is all about. Now, to date, the way customers have been doing that is they'll turn off activity heat map, and then they'll go to the contact and open it up, and it will open up a separate tab, and they can look at like what the activity is on that particular contact. Yeah, exactly like that, Chris. But what we want to do is on the canvas, we want to actually show somewhere like here's the timeline for this particular contact, and again, it's like something that's now more feasible now we're part of HubSpot. So yeah, it's a big one. We want to show the context there and then, and show what they're engaged with and what where that heat's coming from.
I was gonna ask about this custom event contact ICP contact fit threshold changed. We have seen so much happen with custom events over the past year. Bringing visibility in general and the ability to set them up has been so much easier. How do you guys work closely, with that team to kind of like thread that in?
Yeah, we do, and we feel quite fortunate because of what we're working on. It's slightly unique. It's not unique, but it's like slightly unique in that it works across a lot of the customer journey. So we actually touch quite a lot of different teams within HubSpot, and so yeah, we do work with maybe a little bit more than most. Like there's Marketing Hub that we work with, Service Hub that we just mentioned, and then there's like the Signals team that we're starting to work with. So yeah, it's and we work within the prospecting product group as well. So it's a full it's a full gamut, which we feel quite lucky to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's we got to understand the context around all of these humans that we're trying to work with. That's why it's interesting to see and think about what's possible when you've got the journey mapping and the marketing and the marketing studio and the canvas and like, oh man, a question that just popped into mind. Are you thinking about AI in terms of on the other side, like being a part of this buying group in terms of AI agents or AI, collaborators that maybe people bring on the call with them and they're taking notes every time. Like, I think we're not that far away, if we're not already there yet, from that being somebody that we have to make sure is bought into.
Yeah, there's some underlying work at the moment which will be important in terms of so if you think about, you've got companies as an object, you've got contacts as objects, you've got deals as objects. The buying groups, we're currently working on an object type inside of HubSpot, which brings these key decision makers together. So like that'll be important for reporting workflows, but ultimately will be important for agents as well, because you can see these individuals are important for this deal or for this company or for this custom object in time as well, because we've got some customers that also set up like sites and then they want the group associated to a site. So that bit of work needs to be done first, and that's underway now. But yeah, then there's on the other, like I said, the other side that once the data is in that structure, then other things become possible as well.
Awesome. Yeah, in one of my portals, I was bringing in like projects and chats from Claude, and that was around the time that we could start renaming the objects. And I was pretty convinced that every portal I was gonna be in, I was gonna rename contacts to humans.
Right.
And then in that one, I was like, oh no, that's not gonna work. So I changed the name to friends, so that I could fit AI profiles and human profiles in there.
Nice.
So
do you want to maybe remove that chart, Chris, and we'll go through like I'll be interested to see like the options to create it in the first place.
Yeah. So
if you go
on
to
settings here,
yeah, there
delete chart.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's do it. All right, buying group template. Your team knows the average buying committee. Start with a pre-built template. Automatically build. I'm pretty sure I have to click that one. Or assemble by hand. Yeah, I'm clicking this one, like for sure. So intelligently build an org chart for beyond visual from the contacts in your CRM. We're finding contacts, figuring out reporting structure. And here we are. We've got CEO, CMO, CTO, VP of sales, marketing managers, VP of sales. I mean, it's pretty good job here. I wasn't.
It's nearly there. There's a few maybe that might be in the wrong spot, but that's obviously that's part of understanding the company as a CS or salesperson.
Yeah, like SDR could be
exactly.
Could be here. Could be over here.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that was very cool. So, what are the key? Without trying to stumble around myself, like what are the key properties that allowed that to happen?
Job title. That's the key one. If we don't have job title, it's not possible. So that's the key one. It's looking for job titles and then inferring who sits where. So yeah,
that's it. Just job titles.
Just job title. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Will that override like contact associations, like if we're using association labels maybe to visualize?
No, it won't. So there aren't any association labels connected to the buying group at the moment. So yeah, there's no override of that.
Right. Okay. But it won't, like, so let's say if we were using association labels to kind of do a makeshift, org chart ourselves, it wouldn't look at that to try and build this,
No,
right?
it wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it wouldn't take that into account.
Okay. That is very cool. I'm gonna do it again.
It might be slightly different, or you never know.
Yeah, we're gonna just do it one more time. Put it through its paces here.
That's part of the interesting thing of AI, isn't it? It's not always the same.
Yeah, I just saw a video from Marianne Fishkin today about how
slightly different again.
Yeah. All right, CRM manager in the right place now under marketing. Man, just highlighting all of the challenges of what we do, because that's not wrong. Interesting. That's very cool. Let's just build one by hand. See what we got here. Assemble by hand. Find the contact and press add to the chart. So often we might be starting at the level of CRM manager. So we'll start there. Now click the contact. Continue building your chart. Let's add a manager. And you know what? This time we're in an IT heavy company. So we're going to put him under the head of engineering, unfortunately. And then let's just continue the journey. Add manager is I'm just going to see if.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Curious.
No, it should definitely search that way as well.
All right. And then let's just keep going up. Add manager. All right. Now, create, I guess from here, add employee, say CMO. Okay. Add another one. VP of sales. This is so good, dude. Oh man, this is why I've been focusing for the last 2 years. Just can we just not worry about reporting and workflows and all? Like, can we just get the data right? Like, please. Like, so much is coming. You won't be able to leverage any of it without the data like being good. I'm curious how you guys think about, especially if it's job title focused, right? And these moments where companies get rather creative with their job titles sometimes.
Yeah.
How you think about, like, especially, so I like self-service portals and like showing their data back to them, right? And if it's them, like it's their title and you got to show that. But if that's not useful for internal, thinking about transforming the data, like adding contextual instructions anywhere in here.
Yeah, that's an insightful spot, Chris, because that comes up across like multiple different industries that teams sell into. The job titles, and not even industries, like you could go company to company and the job titles are completely different. So one of the areas like we try to help in that is actually on the template side. So what we found was when we implemented the AI functionality, which was a little while ago now, that the immediate feedback from customers that had been using the product for quite some time was, what it will do is it will try to map as many of your contacts as possible. And so the immediate feedback from some of those teams was, well, we're not trying to map everybody, we're trying to map these key roles. So that's where the template functionality came from, because we wanted to give those customers that really understand like what the buying groups look like from, okay, we need legal, we need head of IT, we need CMO, whatever job titles it is, they can get them down in a template. And then what it will do when you go from the template option is it's going to pick from the templates that you want to use on that company. Where that comes into the job title side is you could have various different templates for different industries. So using the job titles that are unique to who you're selling into. And you may put in not just one, you might put in two next to each other in the same spot, and it will still try and fuzzy match to those job titles. So that's where we've like tried to help, where it's just being more specific to the industries you sell into, and you know those job titles better than we do. So it gives you that option.
It's impressive. This is so easy. And let me add contact here. Right. Let's say regional. You could even get into like distribution channels, like sales channels, like all of the different layers involved. And I would love your take on that, like as you interact with the ecosystem more, or maybe like throughout the journey of OrgChartHub, like we're coming from a place in HubSpot where it was like one contact, one deal, one company.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen, the evolution inside of the ecosystem? And now that you're kind of inside, like what's the vibe there? How do we help people like understand that they even need to be doing this in the first place?
Yeah, like I suppose if I roll back the years, like the evolution, there's been a change in the HubSpot customer in terms of I don't it's hard to say this. It's not an insulting, it's in no way is this
It's
insulting.
not just marketing anymore.
No, and there's like a maturity level on the sales side, like, and I'll give a bit more detail on that. It's like something when we first set up, which was like 2018, we never heard anybody mention, when they got going with OrgChartHub, they never mentioned like a particular sales methodology they were using. And then sort of into 2020, 2021, you start to see bigger HubSpot customers start using the CRM, and they had sales operations teams, they had sales enablement teams, and they were thinking on a methodology level, as in like, okay, well, what are we using? Are we using MedPick? Are we using Challenger Sale? Are we using Miller Hyman? And so that's where like the use of buying roles and mapping out the key decision makers are critical to use those methodologies and ensure that you've got everybody covered in order to win the deals and then move the customer on from beyond there as well. So that's kind of what we saw over time, and that's still happening now. Like it's becoming more and more relevant for more and more customers. The buying group, where you did like the add new buying group, where that comes from is again, like from feedback from the very top customers using, by top I mean like the biggest customers using HubSpot who sell into large enterprises. When you sell into a very large business, it is very rare that you land the first deal and that is that. It's normally that land and expand. So they will usually like land in a region, and that will be the first maybe pilot deal. and then they'll look to expand across the other regions and then hopefully get a global deal across. So that's why we made it possible to add separate buying groups and see them. And you, with that separate buying groups, you can still get the same decision makers pop up in each buying group, which was really important for users, because sometimes you're going to have people at the corporate level that influence deals across different groups. So yeah, long answer, but hopefully that made sense, Chris.
It does. I think that's yeah, like it's complex buying happening out there. And like there's tools like that just can make it dramatically easier. But there's this chicken and egg scenario where if we've never seen tools like that or never used tools like that, you got to ask for them to know like that. So I'm guessing the smart suggestion comes from the CEO co-founder connection.
Yeah, it would be that it's looking for like an equivalent or something, the fuzzy match side.
Yeah. Let's see if we let's do this. Let's save that. Okay.
So yeah, if it disappears, it's not gonna, for whatever reason, it's not gonna make a suggestion on that one.
Like finally a use for all the data that you've been purchasing from other data vendors. Oh man. Yeah. I'll handle that with care for sure. I'm gonna got a couple minutes left. I want to just see if we go. I don't even know if I have this set up in here, but customer success workspace. Was this a piece of the puzzle that you're working with already when we give access to Service Hub?
We haven't quite got to surfacing it in the workspace yet. We do want to get there. It's the initial piece was like on making it available for those users on the company cards and deal cards and contact cards inside HubSpot. But yeah, this will inevitably come at some point.
Because this is oh yeah, I got it set to deliverables instead of company records. Yeah, I think this is a super underrated spot in HubSpot right now, especially in the use case that we're talking about. Like, and I'm from manufacturing, and like the moment I saw this, like so there's so much inside sales and order management and like just upsell purchases that aren't really a sales process. And like there's like when you can just see all of this together and something that they see if I can pull this up here. Like we can customize this now, and I think it's even there's some persistence, right? So that we can keep a card up. And like, so my thought is a use case where it's like, if we've got to quote something, right? Like having that quote up and then being able to click through all the different moments, especially if it's like, if we have the buying group map there too, like all of a sudden you can just make sure you have all the details you need and then like go over into like building out the quote. Or maybe we're talking to Breeze Assistant and we're asking better questions. If Breeze Assistant can see the page, right? Maybe he has the context he needs to give better support. But this is amazing work, dude. I'm so happy that HubSpot purchased OrgChartHub. And like, I hope you're proud of what you guys are doing. feel like there's probably a bunch of more stuff that we could dive into. So maybe we can have you back, sometime in the near future.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for it. It's really cool to do this. It's like I said, it's interesting to see a user go into it for the first time, and like there's a notes I've taken where you went to certain places. It's rare that we get to do that, and yeah, for us, it feels like starting again, because so much more is possible. And like I said, we're rebuilding in the background, so there will be some big changes in the next month or two, which it's a really exciting time for us to be rebuilding. It's a real treat.
Yeah, I'm hearing that from a lot of teams right now, and that's why, like, hopefully we can make more of these like a regular habit, because it's just changing so rapidly, thanks to AI, and really the speed that the muscles that HubSpot had already built, like on the way to AI. Like, we got to move fast. And like you can move fast now. So like, why not? Hopefully we can create this kind of awareness bridge to make sure everybody knows what's new and available in HubSpot. And thank you, Austin, for taking those notes. But yeah, look forward to seeing what you guys continue to build here, and appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah,
thanks
so
everyone.
much.